Well, good afternoon. This is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on the 9th of October, which is a Tuesday. And as you can see, I just couldn't resist. I bought a whole bunch of maple logs here. I'll be cutting those up this winter because I already have a completely full complement of wood. And you know, when you burn wood, and you burn wet wood, you only do that once. So I like to get all this stuff stacked and in my shed and under some kind of roof so that it doesn't get wet, because wet wood is just such a pain in the rear end to burn. I guess the big news of today is I can't believe the weather. It is 26 degrees out here, October the 9th, and so everything is still growing like crazy in the greenhouse. I still have peppers coming on, as you can see right here, right in here. So the greenhouse has done incredibly well. The tomatoes, as you can see, are still fruiting, and you can see up there are still some flowers, and there are some bugs, some bees, flies coming around, and they are pollinating everything. So I'm still picking tomatoes. It's kind of collapsed a little bit in the center from the weight, but I'll be picking tomatoes for a little while yet. Absolutely brilliant. And here are my last two honeydew melons. They are so ripe and beautiful and sweet. I love eating stuff from the garden. And of course you can see that the grapevines have done exceedingly well. I'm just about down the entire length of the greenhouse now, and I'll be interested to see what happens next year when these come out, whether we're going to get a few little grapes off these vines. And there's the last of my beets. I pulled a whole bunch for Thanksgiving this past weekend, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody, by the way. I had a wonderful time with friends. We had all fresh produce out of the garden, and it was incredible time around friends. And here is part of a honeydew melon I was eating the other day, and you can see the wasps and the hornets and the flies are all getting a last minute feed. And of course, as I said before, the kale will keep on growing as long as you keep on picking it. The kale will keep on growing, so that'll be going well into the fall now. Now I've knocked down all of my sunflower plants. There's a few flowers coming on, and but an awful lot of the seeds have already been eaten. There's my Brussels sprouts. I should be picking those somewhere into December, end of November, December. But I don't know if you can see this, but what happens is when you take off these larger upper leaves, you just keep doing that, and in that crook will grow a Brussels sprout. And so you keep doing that, and they just keep getting longer and taller, so you have a whole stem of Brussels sprouts. Marigolds are loving this weather too. Well, look at that. Look at those lovely flowers on there. They were just little things when I planted those, and now look at them. They've done exceedingly well. So this is why I've knocked down my sunflowers, because they were in the way. The birds will polish off any remaining seeds in there. But we started the we started the process of the hugelkultur bed. I'm going to narrow this down a little bit, and so I have a bit wider walkway through here. But a lot of the wood is basically rotted out and gone down to soil. You can see some little pieces there. So I am going to be rebuilding this hugelkultur bed essentially from scratch, and so I'll be taking you through that process step by step. And we're going to make this a little narrower here, so it'll be a bit better pathway to walk through. And this will be basically peas and garlic are going to go in here, but I'll have a lot more area to get around. Now these are the boards that came out, and I am actually very disappointed. You can see how it's rotted away. This is only after 4 or 5 years. Okay, now this is spruce, so I'm advising anybody, do not use spruce to build your hugelkultur raised beds. All of the beds are doing the same thing. They're rotting away from the inside, and so they will all have to be replaced. I don't know why I didn't think of using hemlock before, as I did for my greenhouse, but that's what I'm going to be building these new raised beds out of, is hemlock with a liner. Now, as you can see, this is the mustard coming on strong. And like I say, this is absolutely crazy that 9th of October and it is this warm. And you can see it's just starting to flower. And so the robustness and the largeness of the leaves tell me that these beds are completely clear of fusarium and any other kind of fungus or problems in the soil, and they'll be ready to plant next spring. And I think I seem to have solved the same problem with my strawberries. You can see these are looking nice and healthy now. You can see new growth there, runners coming off all of them. But there is no spotting on the leaves, again from the fusarium, and so I think, well, either the strawberry plants, I've weeded out the ones that are affected and these ones are immune to fusarium, or I've actually controlled the problem in the garden. So anyway, down here is going to look like a bit of a mess for a while until I get all of this done. But I've got a week's vacation coming up, and guess where I'm going to be spending that week? It'll be in the garden. And again, you can see on the insides of these boards how much they've rotted down just being exposed to the moisture. And you see here's another bed that's fallen apart. And of course this is what happens, you know, you screw these together and then it starts to rot on the inside, and there's nothing for the screws to go into. So these are the two beds I hope to be fixing up on my vacation. So I think for the next few years I am going to be redoing raised beds, probably 2 or 3 a year. I'm going to baby them through as long as I can, get as much life as I can out of them, but still. This is my second crop of cilantro, and it's coming along really well. I'm just picking leaves off as I need them. And of course the lemon balm, oh look, a little dill coming up through the mint and the lemon balm. And here it is, look, another little sunflower coming up. But the sage, the basil, parsley, the oregano, the thyme, all looking settled in. Now I've trimmed back all of my raspberry plants, but as you can see they're still fruiting. And when I came around here the other day, there was a whole bunch of bees in here pollinating the flowers. So I will be getting a second crop of raspberries, absolutely no doubt. And down here, these are blackberries, just waiting to ripen up. I tell you, it is so nice to have fresh fruit in the fall coming out of your garden. Look at all these berries, look at them all. Incredible. So that is my garden catch-up. Look at this, it's hard to believe there are still flowers forming on these sunflowers. Incredible. So what I'm hoping with my heart of hearts, because we are going into some climatic changes, there's no doubt about it, but I am noticing more and more that we are getting winds coming out of the south and west. And these winds, we never used to get south and west winds. We got winds from north and west, from the east, from the south and east, but never ever ever coming up from Colorado. And these are what they call Colorado lows, and they seem to have been virtually constant. And the reason I know this is because where my store is, when we have a wind from the south and west, it catches my door and blows it open. And in the 27 years I've been there, I bet you that's happened maybe once, maybe twice a year. And now it is virtually constant wind blowing from the south and west. And this affects about a 200-kilometer wide corridor that comes right over this little village of Bobcaygeon. And so I'm hoping that we're going to be an anomaly in the weather changes to come, and that we are not going to be getting too cold or too hot, but we're going to have a moderate kind of climate, just right. Now this is what I love about fall in Ontario. Look at those colours. Absolutely beautiful. And my own maple tree in the backyard is just starting to blush. We had a bit of a frost the other day, but I just love that mixture of reds and golds and yellows and green. Look at those babies. I believe they may well ripen. And of course what I'm going to do in my week off is I'm going to put my lower plastic covering on to keep it nice and warm in the greenhouse, and I'm going to plant some lettuce, and I'm going to see just how many lettuce we can get. Look at that, beautiful. How many lettuce we can get and how far I can grow them into the fall. I was given this the other day. This is a red maple seedling, and I am just figuring out where I'm going to put that little baby. So this is Hound Dog Steve, hoping that you had an incredible Thanksgiving weekend as I did, and that you got to share some of your local produce, and that indeed you had plenty of things to be thankful for in your life. Because as dark and as dire as it may seem sometimes, you know what? If you plant a seed, I guarantee you it will fill you with hope of the season to come. So you have a great week, you take care, and I'm going to, as I say, start that hugelkultur raised bed next week, and I'm going to be taking you through that step by step so that you will see exactly how it's done. And we'll be making some more videos very, very soon. You take care, have a great day, great week, stay safe, stay bright, stay happy. Hound Dog Steve signing off. Thank you.